How are you? Good to see you. I've been talking to my friends over on TikTok for a little bit while waiting for that to play out. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Sorry, I was a little bit late getting the show started, and sorry for the unique time today. We were on a train this morning at 10:30 during our normal starting time. But welcome to Cruise Smarter Live. I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. Normally, Rebecca would be sitting right off camera, but I think she's napping right now. She's very tired when we got back. So I think she's napping inside right now. So you got me tonight. And tonight's topic, the primary topic that we're going to talk about at some point, is going to be adults-only cruising. And it seemed to be a growing trend in the industry. We got another adults-only cruise line kicking off, and we literally just got off the Scarlet Lady, which is an adults-only cruise line. So, hi everybody. So if you're new to the channel, I certainly invite you to like, share, and do all the wonderful things. Certainly subscribe to us. Do all the wonderful things that social media likes for you to do. And if you've got questions about anything to do with cruising, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. We've got TikTok over here. We got YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn on the other channel. So any question that you guys have, I will do my very best to answer. I don't have my encyclopedia sitting here with me tonight, but I'll do my very best to answer your question. And I see we got a bunch of folks here. Hi, everybody on TikTok. And I got Felix and Betty and Cynthia and Beam's mom and Sit Stay Still. Diabetic, how you doing? Good evening from Punta Gorda. Eric is so ready for that Hawaii cruise. Eric, man, we were talking a lot about that Hawaii cruise the past couple of days. So, yeah, absolutely. So excited, Eric. I am so ready for my helicopter tour. I am really ready for my helicopter tour. So we already got a question here saying, do you ever get scared out in the ocean? Actually, no. We just sailed through a nor'easter in October. We were on the Brilliant Lady, and because of we were in Boston, we had to get to Miami. There was no way to get around it, so we went through a nor'easter. And even though the ship was rocking a little bit, it was absolutely fantastic. So, no, I've never been scared out in the ocean. That's a good question. Anybody here ever get nervous out in the ocean? I have not. So, diabetic, adult-only cruising isn't as spicy as it sounds. Good point. What you do, talk about taxes, eat fiber the whole time. Oh, it's interesting because, obviously adult only just really mean no kids. But there is a lot that goes with it. But I do want to talk about a few things first. I want to talk about one thing that's just so huge, first of all, for us, and a big thank you to you guys. The reason why we were on the Scarlet Lady, we were actually invited by Virgin Voyages, to come on down and be on their ship, because for the third year in a row, we are a top 100 sales agent for Virgin Voyages. And it's just absolutely spectacular. In fact, I've got a picture here of one of the nicest CEOs you will ever meet in the industry. If you see Nirmal on the ship, he will absolutely talk to you. Nirmal is the CEO of Virgin Voyages. I spent quite a bit of time chatting with him over these past couple of days. And this is something that only Virgin Voyages does. Nobody else in the industry even does this. One, they don't tell us who the top 100 salespeople are. Number two, they certainly don't invite us for a sailing. This is the third year in a row I've been on a sailing with Virgin Voyages at their invitation to come on down with our fellow top 100 sales agent. And it is absolutely amazing that they even do this. But here was the thing that really blew me away. Like, I knew we were top 100. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. But what I didn't really know until they put it into perspective for us. So as of right now, there are over 30,000 travel agents selling Virgin Voyages in North America. That's where I'm a top 100, North America. There are over 30,000 agents selling Virgin Voyages in North America. And when you run the math, the top 100 represent 0.03%. Like, we're not even the top 1%. We're the top 0.03% of all those people. And that just blew my mind. I'm like, are you kidding me? And we've done this 3 years in a row? Oh, my goodness. And that's, now we've got Corey and Mindy with us, so hopefully we'll get a 4P. But I mean, that was just Rebecca and I for 3 years being in the top 0.03% of all the people selling Virgin Voyages. So I am going to tip my hat to that. I'm going to pat myself on the back. That just truly blew my mind. I had no idea that the numbers were like that. So I thought that was kind of cool, that was kind of a neat thing for those guys to share with me and let us know. And thank you to all of you. Thank you to Nirmal and his entire team for inviting us over there. It is quite the experience to be on board and just to have them treat us. They treated us. We had breakfasts, we had dinners, we had a Q&A session, we had an award ceremony. It was just so much. It's just so much. And then every day something new appeared in our room. I have a robe, guys. I have a rock star robe, but it says First Mate on the back and it has the Top 100 logo. I got a beautiful, beautiful backpack as well. Y'all going to see that in Hawaii. I'll probably bring that to Hawaii. So, oh my goodness gracious. So, all the bats on the back. Thank you, Dadabatic. Oh, and the VV hat trick. Yes, the hat trick. We did it. So, yeah, so very, very excited about that. And again, thank you to Virgin Voyages. And wow. And thank you to all you guys. I mean, my goodness, you guys just keep letting us book your travels, and we're just very, very thankful to all of you. We are truly an independent travel agency, and we have built a lot of relationships out there with y'all, and I'm really excited to see where this goes now with Corey and Mindy being on board, so this is going to be a lot of fun. So we do have some comments about the maybe getting scared. Let's see. Alex, I'll get to your question in a second. Rick Medill got scared when a Russian bear flew over when he was in the Navy. Now, yeah, that would definitely get me. That would get me. Eric says he doesn't get scared on a cruise, but I do get depressed when we pull into the port on disembarkation day. That is the worst day. The worst day. It's like, how rude. How rude. Just because the cruise is over, you're kicking me off the ship? Seriously? I know. That is a very depressing day. Alex saying he felt the northeastern storm. It was choppy for sure. So, yeah, so that is interesting. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. So for the topic tonight, partially because we were on the, I got to tell you a couple of things about Virgin Voyages. Okay, a new groups program is coming. So we've had the Circles program. They had a group program going for the sailors. They told us that a new groups program is coming. It's close, but it could be another month or two before we get it. But there's a brand new groups program coming from Virgin Voyages, so keep an eye on that. It sounds like it's going to be really good, really easy. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to, book you guys on the ship and bring in groups, or whether it's like there were so many. There was like bachelor parties on there, bachelorette parties, there were birthday parties. There was so much going on. It was just a 4-night Fire and Sunset soiree. So we got a new groups program. Booked the new show on Scarlet Lady, booked with Lola. It's the prequel to Lola. So if you've seen Lola on Resilient Lady, this is the prequel to it. If you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter. We've not seen the show. Oh my God. It is probably, I think it's the best show that Virgin Voyages has going right now. I think it's worth booking a Scarlet Lady cruise just to go see Booked. It is a phenomenal show, absolutely phenomenal show, so much fun. We were laughing through the whole thing. It was campy, it was cheeky, it was really well written, well produced, amazing dancers, amazing singers. So Booked is the show on Scarlet Lady that is in the Red Room. And then we finally went to the Lucky Lotus last night, which is the new restaurant on Scarlet Lady. Again, I think that's worth the price of admission going on there. Now, they have, if you recall, when we were, I haven't even done the video yet. Right, you guys haven't seen the video from Rojo yet, I don't think. Maybe you have. But the treat yourself in Rojo was a lobster paella. I don't think it was worth the price of admission. And I was told that the treat yourself in Lucky Lotus was not really worth the $65 either. So just stick with the main menu. The wonton noodle soup, the chicken wonton noodle soup was I could have just had like 3 bowls of that. I had a beautiful ribeye, just absolutely amazing. So If you haven't been on Scarlet Lady lately, you definitely want to check out Scarlet Lady and try out the new restaurant, Try Out Booked. So, and for those of you just tuning in, again, I am Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. We're going to spend about an hour talking about all things cruising. Tonight in particular, we're focusing in on adult-only cruising because that seems to be a growing trend. Even Carnival's getting involved with it now. So it seems to be a growing trend in the industry. So Alex is asking, do I think any other cruise lines will become adults only? I have some thoughts on that. I'll give you some thoughts in a few minutes. I don't know if any more will go adults only, but I really think that some might like dabble in it, kind of like dabble in it. So the growing trend. So let's talk about this growing trend of adults only. It kind of came to a head this past week, or maybe it's a week and a half ago. No, I guess it was last week. Oceania Cruises announced that literally effective immediately, we are adults only. If you book children on a future cruise, they can still come. But starting today, which was, I think, January 7th, you cannot book children on our ships anymore. And that was rather remarkable. Number one, that they made that announcement. But then number two, that it was literally now, today. No more, no warning, they didn't even give people a chance to go ahead and hurry up and book their kids in on a Christmas cruise or anything. Just boom, nothing. Today, we are done. I personally think it was a great move. I think it was an absolutely great move. They said it was a result of customer feedback and market research. If you've been on an Oceania ship, there is not a kids club. There's not even a kids coordinator. There's really, the kids are on their own. And there's not a whole lot to do on an Oceania ship. We were on the Oceania Serena, which is their small ship, less than 700 passengers, and we had 65 kids with, 700 passengers. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids. So, and I will say the kids weren't disruptive or anything. It's just, they were just everywhere because the ship was so small. But they just kind of seem out of place on a ship like that, because it really is an adult-centric cruise line. So I kind of get why Oceania did it, and I think it was a good move for Oceania, in part because they are part of the Norwegian Cruise Line holdings. So that is Norwegian Cruise Line, you got Oceania, and then you got Regent Seven Seas, which is your ultra-luxury. Norwegian is, squarely a family brand. So you want to take your kids on a cruise, just bring them on Norwegian. You want to take your kids on an ultra luxury cruise, Regent is still open. I mean, Regent does accept children on the ship. But if you just want to go adults only and just be able to have adult conversations throughout the ship, have entertainment at any time. I mean, it's just it's a more relaxing vibe because you don't have amped up kids, just running around. And it's like, where did these kids come from? Or, Norwegian Aqua has the most amazing pools around the edge. Those infinity pools around the edge, but you can't get near them because they're loaded with kids. And it's kind of like, well, I kind of wish this ship didn't have kids on it so I could actually, enjoy it. See, we got some comments here. I don't think we need adults only if the parents would take care of the kids and be responsible. I agree with that. Even if the other cruise line do just a couple of them a year, I like that. And Crafty, you're getting ready for the Mariner seas. I love that. And Jada is saying that they won't sail on Carnival because of their horrendous last cruise because of their kids. I mean, there's a point on every cruise, it seems like, where the Lord of the Flies kind of takes over, right? He just kind of takes over. And sometimes you're just like, oh man, I wish I could be on this ship. I wish I could go on the Icon of the Seas with adults only. That would be amazing, have that whole water park all to yourself. But and somebody said, maybe some people should do some other thing. But Carnival has, it is invitation only. It is a casino-based cruise. They actually bring in extra slot machines. They bring in extra tables. And it is a casino-themed cruise by invitation only. But it is adults only. Over 2,000 people on Carnival Pride, maybe. But, it's a good-sized ship. And they have multiple of these sailings, and they're all sold out. So it makes me think hey, at some point, Carnival is probably going to be like, we should try one with the general public and see what happens. And especially with one of their smaller ships, I doubt you'll ever see the Mardi Gras, the Celebration, the Jubilee ever do it, or even the Vista Horizon. I doubt you'll ever see them do it. But some of the smaller ships, Spirit class ship down in that area, I could totally see that with something like a Carnival or something like that. Is there a minimum age limit on cruises that accept children? In general, I believe it's like 6 months for a Caribbean cruise, but if you're going up to Alaska or transatlantic, I think they have to be a year. I could be off on that, but there are some different rules that come into play up in Alaska, and especially the transatlantic. I know you got to be a year in order to do the transatlantic. But in general, I think it's 6 months. It might be a little young. It may vary based on the cruise line, but I think it's 6 months. If anybody wants to correct me out there and post it, that would be great. Maybe Rebecca is napping and watching on a phone. Maybe she can say something. You were just about to ask, diabetic. I was just about to ask, what about affluent families? Do you suppose that's a large market for them to ignore, exclude? So on the Norwegian side, you still got Regent, you still got Silver Sea, you got Explorer Journeys. Explorer Journeys actually does have a kids program. They actually have a kids club, kind of a cool kids club. Carnival's going to see their ice cream sales plummet. I don't know, man. I see a lot of adults eating that soft serve, and on Virgin Voyages, they line up for that ice. That is really good ice cream on Virgin Voyages. So, but let's look a little bit about this. So we'll look at adult-only cruising today. Now, we all talk about Virgin Voyages, but they were not the first. Viking actually was the first adult-only cruise line. It's just Viking, and then they were the original. They sort of set the standard, but they're a very conservative cruise line. So you kind of had you kind of have to go with their way of sailing. It's definitely a quieter experience. Like if you really want a nice quiet experience, Viking is definitely going to be it. They do stay in port quite long, but. Looking at Viking, they have 15 ocean-going ships in their fleet. And I'm only talking ocean right now. We're not talking about the rivers for the purposes of this conversation. I'm just talking about ocean-going cruising. So Viking has 15 ocean-going ships and just under 1,000 people per ship. So that's like 15,000, adult-only berths out there, thanks to Viking. And then Virgin made a big splash with it, right? They came out, we're going to be adults only, and we're, a little more of a lively ship. I won't say that it's a party ship. It comes across as a party ship on a lot of the vlogs, and you can party all day and all night if you really want to, but generally during the day, it is a very chill and relaxed ship. And then if you want to go party, you go into the manor or you go to one of the events. So Virgin comes along, and they are adults only, and they've got 4 ships in their fleet now. 4, we finally got 4, each with approximately 2,700 guests. So you've got 10,800 berths across those 4 ships. And what we learned this past week is they are sailing at about a 90% load almost every single week. A 90% load means that 90% of those berths are full every single week. So that means every single week there's over 9,700 adults going out on those 4 ships. So the market's there, right? The market is there. Viking has 15,000 guests that they can carry on any given week, and Virgin Voyages has 10,000, almost 11,000 guests that they can carry on any given week. The market is there. It's sustaining 15 Viking ships. It's sustaining 4 Virgin ships, and now we add in Oceania. Oceania is going to have 12 ships. Yeah, 12 ships. We've got four Regatta class, which is the small ship. We've got the Riviera and the Marina. Then you got the Vista Allura, and now we've got the new Sonata class, which they're building 4. They've named 2, they're building 4. So they're going to have 12 ships. The Regatta class holds about 684 guests. The Riviera Marina, they hold 1,200 guests. The Vista Allura are 1,250, and then the new Sonata class is going to be 1,450. These are going to be bigger ships. So that's going to be 13,400 and so berths from Oceania coming online. So we're going to have almost 40,000 berths on any given week for adults only. So this is a growing growing market for sure. And it's very interesting. And this does not count Carnival, Carnival with their 2,000 berths or whatever. So it's definitely a growing market. And it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes from here. I'm curious, all of you watching, have any of you actually sailed on one of these? Have you sailed on Virgin Voyages? Have you sailed on Viking? And have you sailed on Oceania? It would be nice to know if you've sailed on any of these so far. So let's see. Oceania is an MSC brand. No, Explorer Journeys is the MSC luxury brand. Oceania is owned by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, so it's part of the Norwegian Cruise Line family of brands. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Just trying to beware of the gratuities and various other fees. Well, so yes, prepaid gratuities, you want to take care of the prepaid gratuities. As far as other fees, if you're working with somebody like me, I'm going to tell you what all the fees are to get on the ship. Now, whatever you do once you're on the ship, that's up to you. But when we price things for you, we're giving you the price. This is what it's going to cost you to actually get on the ship. There will be no surprises. There will be nothing. The only added fees that could be added after we're done with you would be like in a situation like what Hawaii has been threatening. Hawaii is threatening new taxes. If new taxes are created before your voyage goes to whatever the destination is, then the cruise line reserves the right to pass on those taxes to you. But in terms of gratuities, everybody should know about those gratuities up front. You should know that those are coming, get them out of the way up front. That's a very good point you make, and you do not want to be surprised by fees, because if you're not ready, you could really be caught off guard with a big bill, and of course, always go into airplane mode. Eric Maxey, maybe Norwegian designate one or two of the older ships without all the rides and slides, adults only. Good idea. Good idea. Any plans to announce upcoming group cruises? Yes, at the end of the show, I will be giving you a hint. But of those, for those of you who, Colonel Dave Dixon, is Explorer Journey adults only? No, actually, they are the only luxury line that I know of that has a kids club, and they actively do promote families coming on board. They are gorgeous ships, absolutely stunningly beautiful, gorgeous ships. I love Explorer Journey. But you're not going to see a lot of kids. And the same is true with all these luxury brands. We happen to have 65 kids on our Oceania cruise because it was Christmas. It was Christmas and New Year's. So that was a holiday sailing. That was a bit of an outlier. But even they said we've never had more than 30 kids on any sailing. So even they were shocked that there were that many kids. So I think that might be what kind of happened with Oceania, that more and more kids started showing up. And then all the guests are like, look, we're paying for a premium experience. We don't mind the kids. Kids are okay, but it starts to get a bit much when there's a lot of kids. There's nothing for them there's literally nothing on the ship. There's ping pong and a pool. Ping pong and a pool. That's what you got for the kid. So, but yeah, I'd be curious, have you sailed on adults only, and do you prefer sailing on adults only versus on the family brand? I'd be really curious. I do like the vibe on an adults only ship. What is adults only, first of all? So adults only just simply means you got to be 18 years old to get on the ship, 18 years or older to get on the ship. It doesn't mean there's sex parties, doesn't mean there's swinging, doesn't mean there's all this stuff. I mean, maybe there's some of that, but it just means that it is a much more relaxed vibe when you don't have the kids running around. They don't have to wait till 10 o'clock to do the adult comedy show or to do any of the shows. They can do any of the shows they want at any time. In the case of Virgin Voyages, we have a drag queen, and she can perform anytime she wants, and we don't have to worry about being careful what we say and what we do, because we're all adults here. Literally, we're all adults here. So it just changes the vibe on the ship, so that you just don't have to worry about all the kids out there. Have a question: have I been on the Grandiosa? Not the Grandiosa, but we have been on the seaside and the seashore. Excellent, beautiful ship. Since you brought that up, you have to understand that with MSC, you have to kind of take the good with the bad. The service could be very up and down. Food could be very up and down, but the ships are gorgeous. The pools are amazing. The coffee is incredible. The pizza is really, really good. So MSC, we're sending more and more people on MSC because for the price point, I mean, how can you, I think everybody should try MSC. The price point is incredible on those ships. And see for yourself what you think. Of course, if you go yacht club, that's a whole different experience. That's a really, really nice experience. So, but yeah, no, Grandiosa is a beautiful, beautiful ship. She is a sister to the Meraviglia. So absolutely beautiful, beautiful ship. I mean, if we can help you in any way, and in fact, I'll just remind you all, if we can help you in any way, plan your cruises, plan your trips, or whatever we can do, because we do land as well. We talk about cruises on here, but we do land as well. So if we can help you in any way, just reach out, where'swaltertravel.com, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching. There are links in the description, in my bio, or just go to where'swaltertravel.com. So, oh, I got some more questions. Let's see. Diabetic. My parents absolutely love Viking Ocean. They keep telling me and my brother, sorry, no kids allowed. I love that. That is nice. Virgin Voyages. So Rick loves Virgin Voyages and Oceana. You agree? Oh, yeah, that is an interesting, a whole nother topic, talking about the pride of America and moving it around. Who is adults only cruising perfect for? If you just want to cruise with no kids. That's really all that it comes down to. Would you like to try a cruise with no kids? What we noticed, we saw it on the 13-day voyage on the Brilliant Lady from Quebec down to Miami, and then especially on the 4-day Fire and Sunset Soiree, the demographic is shifting on Virgin Voyages. I would say the average age on that 4-night cruise was probably like 52 or something like that. You can see that there is I don't want to say an older crowd, but a more mature crowd is coming on because they're like, you know what, we kind of like this. There's no kids. All the restaurants are included. You know, the Wi-Fi is included. It's a nice vibe. It's a cool group of people. It really is a cool group of people that sail on Virgin. There's so many backgrounds, so many dynamic, a great ship to people watch, especially on Scarlet Night. I mean, some people just go absolutely insane with their outfit. So it's a really cool ship to people watch on there. So yeah, so that's basically what it is. And you know, how does it differ? That's a question I get a lot. How is it different from, say, a mainstream cruise line? Like, how is it different from Celebrity? It's hard to describe. It really is hard to describe until you actually do it. And it's usually like the second day that it kind of hits you. It's like, you know what, there's like no kids on here, and I don't have them running around. I don't have to worry about what I'm doing and where I'm going and kids getting in my way. And it's just a different feeling. It's a different vibe. It's more of a laid back vibe. I think Virgin can give you that more party atmosphere if you want it. Viking is going to be a very conservative atmosphere. And then Oceana kind of threads the middle. Oceana can have elements of the party and elements of the absolute quiet as well. They all take you to amazing. I think one of the interesting things about the adults only cruise lines is that all of them take you to really unique destinations. Virgin, Viking, and Oceana take you to a lot of places that the family cruise line just don't take you to. And I think that's another thing that kind of helps to set those cruise lines apart as well. Diabetic brings up an interesting point. We have been talking about this a lot. Saying that the next year will be telling for Virgin Voyages what with the changes they've made to their packages and what is included, not included now. The momentum in sales of Virgin Voyages has not slowed down at all. If anything, it picked up. I personally don't agree with the 3-tier pricing, and they didn't take anything away. All they did was pull the gratuities out, which they didn't have to do. They didn't have to do. I still disagree with pulling the gratuities out, but that's really what they did. They pulled the gratuities out, and so now you just got to add those back in. In terms of the essential fare, nothing changed, except you can't change both sailors. So the essential fare is the fare that you've been booking for the past 3 years, and I think once the hubbub died down and people realized, like, oh, all I got to do is put the gratuity back in and we're right back where we were. And you are literally right back where you are. Now, the premium package is something that people have actually been asking me for, hey, Walt, is there a way for me to book with the premium Wi-Fi? I'd love to have that premium Wi-Fi. Is there a way for me to book with a bar tab so I can just kind of have a bar tab already on it? So the premium, I think the premium could have been an add-on package like Princess Plus. The base is really, I think the base is really only there if you're booking last minute. I mean, I know they say, look, if people don't care, they don't care about the dining, they don't care about this, that, or the other. What I will tell you is that 12 days or 15 days before this Fire and Sunset soiree, because we were basically a base fare, that's what they did with all the top 100, we were able to book dining. We couldn't necessarily get the times we wanted, like, you know, you don't get the prime time, but we actually had no problem booking the dining that we actually wanted on that voyage. So I was actually rather shocked. That was a neat test to see if you could book dining 15 days out, and the answer is yes. Actually, you can. But really, if you book with the essential fare, you're booking the same way we've been booking for the past 3 years. I think personally, I think they solved the problem that didn't need solving. You know, they fixed the problem that didn't need solving. That was one of the points that I made to them. Trust me, I give them a lot of feedback. I gave them so much feedback. I actually had an impromptu dinner with Nirmal 2 nights ago. Nirmal and John, who's on the board, we just had an impromptu dinner. I was sitting in the galley working, and they came up to have dinner. That's the cool thing about Nirmal. Like, you'll just see them all over ship. And they were up there, and we just started talking. They're like, hey, come on over. And I gave them like 6 ideas while we were sitting there. And Nirmal liked a bunch of them. So, you know, they're constantly feeling things out. They have reasons why they really did explain why we did the 3-tier system. And, you know, the science behind it, the marketing behind it, all of that. They did explain it. I still think they could have just had essential and premium and just left the base alone. But that's just me. But in terms of will they has this new thing hurt Virgin Voyage? Not at all. They're still running at 90% load, which means that they're 90% full on just about every voyage going out. And they said they were actually surprised. They were waiting for the drop off because social media blew up about, oh my gosh, how, but we could see that nothing changed. And if you're working with a travel agent, we could see that not much really changed. The only thing that really changed is just take the gratuities out, and you can change 1 sailor in the room rather than 2. But everything else kind of just basically stayed the same. Ignore the base, don't book the base unless you're last minute. And then if you want the extras, then go ahead and book the premium. That's really what it is. So yeah. Walter, do you book hotel room or only cruises and flights? We do book the hotel. So here's the deal. We book hotels and flights, but only as part of an overall package. So if you book a cruise with us, if you book a land tour with us, something like that. We won't just, if you just call me and say, hey, well, can you just book me a hotel for a trip, and there's nothing else going on around that, we generally don't. If you're a returning client, we will. But I've had some new people come in and say, can you help me with my flights? We don't do anything with flights unless that's part of a package. And yeah, so established clients, we will help them with hotels if they need the help. But if you're just reaching out for the first time saying, hey, I need some help with a hotel, generally won't. We want that to be part of a package as well. It's just easier and cleaner. Alex wants to know, is Virgin Voyages planning to do reservations for their shows? As of right now, no. On Scarlet Lady, it actually was not a problem at all. Scarlet Lady, it was you could show up, 15 minutes before the show, and you were going to get a seat in the red room. The Manor was obviously a little bit tighter, but there were still people walking in, like right up until the show started in the Manor. We saw Lights, Camera, Drag with Carlos, my favorite drag queen, Carlos, a woman named Carlos. So absolutely fabulous. But yeah, even that show, you were able to walk in. So it was completely different than Brilliant Lady. Now, Brilliant Lady has all new shows, and they were saying, that's one of the reasons why it's so stacked up. They're all new shows. Most of them are good. Now, there's a show on Brilliant Lady called Out of Time. I wouldn't go to it. I would not recommend it. But when we saw Booked on the Scarlet Lady, it was like, this is what Out of Time should be. They should go back and rewrite the show more like Booked. And if they did that, then it would be a fantastic show. But as of right now, Alex, they are not doing, they're not planning to do any reservations. Colonel Dave, you said you did a 10-day to Alaska. On the Norwegian Jewel, you think you were the youngest passenger. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. I can tell you on the 13-day Quebec to Miami, we were definitely among the younger passengers on that one. Beyonce, can't wait to go. Oh, you can't wait to go on the Brilliant Lady to the Panama Canal. Yay! I'll tell you, there's a lot of people excited about that one. Oh my gosh, that's going to be an amazing cruise. In Alaska, you know, if you really want to do Virgin Voyages in Alaska, there's two particular voyages that are quite good. They only have two with Hubbard Glacier on them. If you're going to do Virgin Voyages in Alaska, do one of those two with Hubbard Glacier. That's what I would recommend if you really want to do them. Alyssa, have I heard anything about the newly renovated Allure of the Seas sailing on that soon? I saw her when she went into dry dock and they had it all ripped apart. I haven't really paid much attention to her since she came out. Has anybody sailed on the Allure since it came back out? They were doing a lot because Allure was supposed to have had her big, you know, redo, and then COVID hit and they just kind of let it sit there, which actually ended up being a good thing, because they've incorporated some of the things from Utopia and the Icon class. I'm telling you, people, the Icon class of ship is unfreaking believable. Boy, an adults-only cruise on there would be amazing. I personally think what's going to happen moving forward with adults only, some of you folks have been talking about it. Like, I could totally see Celebrity. I don't know, you know, Eric was saying, you know, maybe Norwegian can take a couple of ships and make them adults only. I don't think they're going to do that, only because now Oceania is that adult only option. So they're going to want to push people over there. But what I totally could see happening, and even Norwegian could do, the select sailings, just like Carnival is doing right now with the casino deals. Select sailings are going to be adults only. And I could totally see Celebrity doing this. I could see Carnival doing this. You know, again, Carnival, like with the Spirit class ships, you know, some of those smaller ships, like Royal Caribbean would never do it. They are a family cruise line. But some of these cruise lines could start doing and testing the waters, if you will, to see if an adults only. You know, because Celebrity could, if they wanted to, they could take their Millennium class ships and just make those adults only if they really wanted to. Could you imagine going on the Beyond adults only? Because one of the things that's been happening with Celebrity, and I've been hearing from a lot of y'all, there's a lot of kids on Celebrity all of a sudden. You're like, man, what's going on? We're going on Celebrity. It's adult-centric, right? Why are all these kids on here? I'll tell you why. Loyalty points. Because on Royal Caribbean, if you want the kids to sail free, they need to sail when they're in school. Basically. But if you go on Celebrity, third and fourth guests are free almost all the time. So what they're doing is they're taking the kids onto Celebrity to get the Royal Caribbean points and work their way up, you know, with the point sharing and all the status matching, all that stuff. So they're earning the points on Celebrity, and Celebrity's cheaper because third and fourth kids are free, and Celebrity is overall cheaper than Royal Caribbean, especially if you want to go on the Icon, the Oasis, and the newer ships. So that's why you're seeing a lot of kids. People are like, why are there so many kids on Celebrity during the summer? Because the parents don't want to pay for Royal Caribbean, but they still want to get the points. So that's what's happening. So I could totally see. I mean, it'd be nice to go on the Beyond and get adults only and do stuff like that. So, yeah. Alyssa, you say you get casino deals from Royal Caribbean every week. You're skeptical about them. Are they legit? If they're coming from Royal Caribbean, truly coming from Royal Caribbean, they are legit. They are legit deals. There's a lot of like rules and regulations that go with them to make sure you understand all the terms and conditions of what is included and what not. And sometimes they can take things out. Just make sure you understand it. If it's truly coming from Royal Caribbean, it's really coming from a third. Well, actually, no, I think Royal Caribbean does have their own casino department. A lot of them have a third-party company that does it for them. But if it's truly coming from Royal Caribbean, yeah, that's probably a legit thing. We don't do anything with casino deals. So, yeah, but you know, I could see Silversea. Yeah, so my notes here, I got Celebrity, like Silversea could experiment with going adults only. I mean, they're almost adults only anyway, but it would be kind of neat to see some of these cruise lines. I would love to see like the story goes that the Prima class from Norwegian was originally supposed to be adults only. Like the Prima was supposed to be an adults only ship. And then COVID hit, and they were like, oh man, Let's go ahead and throw a racetrack on here and make it with kids. I think it'd be really interesting to go on the Aqua, the Luna, the Prima, the Viva, adults only, because it would be nice to actually be able to use those pools with all the kids in it. So, Barbara, hey, thanks for joining in, Barbara. Good to see you. You've been on 5 Viking Ocean, 1 river trip. You like it very much because it's a small ship and no kids. I take a look at VB and now Oceana. Yeah, I tell you what, Barbara, we got to get you on a Virgin Voyage. I think you'll have a blast. Yeah, I think Oceana has opened up a lot of eyes. And just keep in mind that the kids may still show up for like the next couple of years, because if they're already booked, they're not being kicked off the ship. So for at least the next couple of years, you may still continue to see children on the ships. But I would say in about 2 years, it'll probably be completely adults only. Hey, Russell, we do love cruising, don't we? Oh my God, cruising is like the best, the best. We had so many ships in today. And if you haven't seen it, Miami. Oh, Miami. Now we got construction going on in Miami. The whole Terminal G, I think it's the one. The Royal Caribbean terminal is all torn up. It's gone. And now they're building a brand new terminal. This is the one that's literally right next to Virgin Voyages. There's usually a Royal Caribbean ship sitting there. But they're building a new state-of-the-art terminal, which has created a cluster trying to get to Virgin Voyages. Now you got to kind of go around. They've turned around some roads and things like that. But if you haven't seen the renderings lately, Virgin Voyages, Royal Caribbean is coming up with another beautiful terminal, and I think that's going to hold a bigger ship. So they'll be able to put like a Oasis class and the Icon sitting in there on the same day, which is great for traffic. It's going to be awesome for traffic. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And by the way, our deal with Miami, when the ship comes in, we're off. We were literally like 3rd in line today to get off the Virgin Voyages. We got our lift ride within 5 minutes. We were out of there. We were already at the train station at like 7:40. So my tip to you, when you're getting off in Miami, just get the heck out of Dodge as soon as the gates open, as soon as the gangways open, because once that gets going, it becomes a mess, and a lot of the drivers will actually refuse to ride. They don't want to come in. So, Barbara hits a good point. Viking has amazing enrichment. They have incredible speakers that come on those ships. That's what they're known for. Like if you want to know the history and the culture of where you're sailing, or maybe you just want to learn about something, Viking has incredible enrichment speakers. Cunard actually has really good ones as well, but that is adults only. It is very conservative. And they do have some very good enrichment speakers on Viking. Now, the big knock for me on Viking, at least like Barbara doesn't have to worry about it because she's been on it enough time, but like your first voyage, you may be paying in full 18 to 24 months before your cruise. For me, that's a long time just to have your money tied up before you go sailing. And most of our guests who come to us for Viking for the first time end up going with, Azamara, Oceana, Silver Sea, those guys, because the final payment's not due until 120 days, maybe 150 days before the cruise, which is much more fair. Over in Europe, Viking can't do that. They only do it in North America. And to me, it's just not fair to the guests to make them tie up their money 18 to 24 months early. But once you do it a few times, like Barbara's been on it, a few times, then, they start backing up that final payment day so you don't have to do it quite so early. How hard is it to get from Miami to Fort Lauderdale on disembarkation day? You have a later flight. So the cruise lines themselves will offer that transfer. If you're getting off a ship in Fort Lauderdale, you can get transfers to the Fort Lauderdale airport and the Miami airport. And if you're getting off the ship in Miami, you can get transfers to the Miami airport and the Fort Lauderdale airport. So if you're doing it from a cruise ship, I would just use their transfer service. Make it easy on yourself. There's going to be a bus. You're just going to go get on the bus. Your luggage is going to be, you're going to hand off your luggage. They're going to put it on the bus. If you need to get from one city to the other to the airport, just use the cruise line transfer. Let them do it for you. It'll be so much easier. And if you have a later flight, sometimes you can get those excursions where, like, you know, you go to the Everglades or whatever, and then they just bring you to the airport after that. But that would be my advice, especially with all the construction, the traffic, and all of that. Make it super easy on yourself. Sign up for that transfer. It's probably going to be cheaper than, say, getting an Uber Lyft to take you that far. You know, one option, if you really wanted to, you can take a Lyft to the Brightline train station, take the Brightline to Fort Lauderdale, and then you got to take another Uber over to the airport. That's a lot of work. I would just do the cruise line transfer. That would make it so easy, so easy. So Celeste says, no better vacation than a cruise or two. You are absolutely right about that. I love that. Love that. So, yeah, and that is basically it with the topic. Now, one thing I haven't talked about tonight is our group cruises, and then I'm gonna walk through our group cruises, and I know Alex is waiting for word on another group. So let's start with, if you have been wanting to go see the Christmas markets in Europe. Oh my God, this is like a bucket list for me for many years. I'm so excited that we're finally doing this. We are doing this in 2027. We're going to do Avalon Waterways Christmas Time on the Rhine. So we start in Basel, Switzerland. We end up in Frankfurt, Germany, 7 nights. And we picked this cruise. Bubble Mom, I'll get your question in just a minute. We picked this cruise for a couple of very specific reasons. One, this is December 7th through the 14th, 2027. Final payment is not due until September of 2027. So you got still like a year and a half or so to pay for this cruise. So you've got time to pay for it. Number 2, Avalon has panorama suites. This is like 14-foot by floor-to-ceiling glass with your bed facing the glass. You're not going to go out onto a balcony in December in Europe. So you're going to have this beautiful view looking out. And then we wanted to do the Rhine to start with. So I expect this will be more coming soon at some point. But and then the super cool thing right now, we locked in a promo rate. I didn't realize this when we did it on the group. We actually locked in an amazing promo rate, and Avalon's prices have continued to go up. Our rates are currently up to $700 per person savings, like off the price. So $1,400 for 2 people is the savings on this particular cruise. And as of right now, we have about 70 people joining us on this voyage. The ship holds about 140. We got about half the ship right now. I want to fill it. I just want to fill it up. I think it'd be amazing. But you guys are like so freaking excited about this cruise. I'm excited about this cruise. You guys are excited about it. And the plan right now, you know, off the top of my head, is to fly into Zurich like 3 days early, because Zurich has some beautiful Christmas markets, and they have those trains that go up into the mountains with the snow and all that. I really, really, really want to do that. And of course, you know, Stephanie's coming. So if you want to cruise with Stephanie, she is coming on this cruise, and you know, Stephanie is like one of the most amazing, Stephanie Mullen of the Shaun and Steph channel. She's one of the most amazing people ever in this world. So if you want to come cruise with her, she's going to be cruising with us on that. Now, before I go into the next group cruise, somebody's asking me, which one is better, Celebrity or Oceania, looking at cruises out of Barcelona to the Canary Island? So I would assume if you're looking at Celebrity, you're probably looking at the Constellation class. You're probably looking at something like the Summit, the Millennium, something like that. That's going to be a smaller ship. And then Oceania, of course, is going to be a small ship. Now, Oceania is basically almost all-inclusive. Like all the dining is included. I think the Wi-Fi, I can't remember with the Wi-Fi, but I know all the dining's included. The drinks are not included anymore. They used to be, but they're not included. And it's a smaller, more intimate experience. Celebrity will be a larger ship, because even if it's a Millennium class, you're going to be around 2,000 people. I think what it really comes down to, depending on the Oceania ship, you might have less than 700 passengers. You won't have any more than 1,200. So that's going to be a very small, intimate experience. And I would take a good look at the ports. Which ports are we stopping at? How long are we staying there? Because Celebrity is a mainstream cruise line. So, you know, part of their agenda is to get you back on the ship so we can get you into the dining rooms, we can get you watching the shows and things like that. Oceania does not have that agenda. Oceania is like, if you want to stay, we're going to be here late. So I would take a very good look at the itinerary. How long are we staying? How many port stops are we actually making? The other things that like Celebrity, Norwegian, all the mainstream people do, they'll throw in a sea day when there really is no need for a sea day in those areas. Like you can go, you could literally do 12 ports in 12 days if you really wanted to. They want to do a sea day. They want you to hit the casino. They want you to hit the spa. They want to make some money on the ship. And Oceania, yes, they want to make money on the ship, but they also know that part of the reason why you come to Oceania is for the ports. So I would take a very good long look at the actual itineraries. And, both of them are going to be great. We're doing our Italy group cruise, which I'll just go ahead and bring that up while we're chatting about it. But we're doing an Italy group cruise on Oceania, or excuse me, on Celebrity. We're going to be on the Celebrity Constellation. And I chose that ship because it's plus or minus 2,000 people. It's a small ship. We're starting in Ravenna. We're coming around to Civitavecchia, so basically Venice to Rome. And the other reason why I wanted a small ship, we looked very hard at, we looked at Azamara, we looked at Oceania, but what actually won this particular voyage for us was actually because of the back-to-back voyage. The voyage right after this one is a transatlantic crossing to San Juan. So we're like, so we could do Italy, because it's a really nice itinerary around Italy, and then we can stay on the ship and do a transatlantic. So we can do Italy, Croatia, transatlantic, Spain, Morocco, like we can do all of this in one big voyage, and that's why we centered in on the Celebrity. But both of them are going to be great. I'm going to mess you up and say, take a look at Azamara as well. Azamara has some of the best itineraries, period. Just period. They stay in port the longest. They have the most overnights. So take a look at Azamara, because Azamara only has very small ships, less than 700. So depending on what kind of port stops you want to get, I'm going to mess you up by throwing that in there. But that is another cruise line you should take a very good look at to see. And if you want to reach out, we'd be more than happy to help you out. The thing about us, folks, is we are literally 100% free. Zero. We don't charge you a dime. We don't charge you any kind of consultation fees, planning fees. If you have to cancel, the only cancellation fees are going to be if the travel partner charges them. We don't charge you a thing. And Rebecca is one of the best researchers. I mean, she's amazing at finding cruises that you didn't know existed. So if we can help you in any way, you're watching on TikTok, there's links in my bio. If you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, there's links in the descriptions as well. Yeah. You're welcome. And again, if we can help you in any way, we'd be more than happy to help you out. It's myself, Rebecca, and now we have Corey and Mindy, my two associates that are absolutely amazing. They're just knocking it out of the park. So just so excited. And since I've got the Italy and Croatia up there, that is going to be on the Celebrity Constellation. It's October 23rd through November 2nd. Now I can say this year. Finally. And it's 10 nights. It's Ravenna, Split, Dubrovnik, Kotor, Messina, Salerno, Portofino, La Spezia, and then Civitavecchia. And Civitavecchia is going to be your gateway to Rome. Ravenna is about 3.5 hours outside of Venice, so you could start in Venice. We're actually doing a 6-day land tour. I think we've got like 14 guests coming with us on that one. We're all going to fly into Rome, and we're going to spend 3 nights in Rome. Then we're going to be transferred up to Venice. We're going to do 2 nights in Venice, and then we're going to spend the last night actually in Ravenna. So we're already there ready to go, because it is a 3.5-hour ride. So I just wanted to be in Ravenna. We're there for the night, and they have absolutely beautiful mosaics and things like that there. So we have a 6-day land tour that I put together for the group before the cruise even starts. So we're going to be gone about 30 days. It's going to be amazing. And then, like I said, if you want to stay on the ship afterward, I think there's about 8 of us staying on the ship for the entire 25 days, which is going to be absolutely spectacular. That crossing is going to be incredible. So, and Benny is saying 284 days until we get there. 284 days until we get there. Going to Italy. It's going to be amazing. Diabetic says, wait a minute. So the reason why Disney is doing 4 days at sea out of Singapore is because they want more money from you. It's also because the ship is so big. There's not a whole lot of places it can go. And there's no rules in Singapore that say you have to stop somewhere. So they do a lot of cruises to nowhere from Singapore. Yeah. You just joined different scenery. I'm actually on the same patio. It's just complete blackness out in the backyard. So I'm still here on the, this is where I typically do my Thursday night show with this view behind me. So this is just the inside of our patio. So you're not looking out the back window at the backyard right now. What else do we have going on? Well, we have the Hawaii cruise. Believe it or not, you could still book our Hawaii cruise. It's starting in 24 days. 24 days. So if you want to join our Hawaii cruise, you literally still could. February 4th through the 20th. It is going to be LA, Honolulu, Hilo, Kahulu, Kauai, and Ensenada. We have 10 sea days on the Emerald Princess, 4 days around the island. Then 1 day in Ensenada, of course, because we have to go to another country. But if you want to join that one, Emerald Princess. And if you want to see all of our group cruises, where'swaltertravel.com. There's a group travel button right there at the top. There's a menu item. Click that. All of our group cruises are showing up right there. Of course, if you want to go and cruise with Tony and Jenny B, we're getting a lot of requests for this all of a sudden again. April 16th through the 23rd, 7 nights out of Philadelphia. It's the very first cruise out of Philadelphia. That's why Tony's like, we're doing the first cruise. We're going out of Philadelphia. So that's why we're doing that. So April 16th through the 23rd, Norwegian Jewel. Cruise with Tony and Jenny B. We sail out of Philadelphia. We do an overnight in Bermuda, and then we go to Charleston. Folks, if you've never been to Charleston on a cruise ship, you want to go to Charleston on a cruise ship. We just did it in October. Oh, what a great port. I don't know. It's kind of hard. Let's see. I got that. I got Boston. I got some of these. Charleston, it might be my favorite U.S. port. It's an amazing port to come into. Absolutely gorgeous. So, and there's 3 sea days on this particular voyage. So there will be group events. There will be 2 general group events happening, and then there will be 1 Patreon only event happening on this. And then a bunch of us are coming into Philly early. So we're going to stay in Philly a little bit early. And then Mindy has an amazing cruise on the Sapphire Princess leaving November 22nd. She's going to Japan. She leaves LA, goes to Maui, Kilo, Kona, Honolulu, Nawiliwili, and then ends up in Tokyo. I didn't say that right. I know I didn't. But it's November 22nd through December 12th. It is a repositioning cruise from LA all the way to Tokyo. So you're going to end up in Tokyo. You could stay on the ship and do another itinerary, or you could get on another ship and go do another cruise there, or just simply explore Japan once you're over there. And then one of our new travel partners, Cruise Man's Garage. If you're a fan of motorcycles, Cruise Man's Garage is a channel here on YouTube that has over 75,000 subscribers, all talking about Honda motorcycles. And he said, you know what, I'm going to put together a group cruise so we can all get together. And this thing is selling really well. This is the brand new Norwegian Luna. So if you're a fan of motorcycles, or maybe you just want to get on the Norwegian Luna, we do have group rates January 30th through February 6th of 2027, so about a year from now. It is a Western Caribbean cruise, Miami, Roatan, Harvest Cay, Customaya, Cozumel, and then back to Miami. 7-night cruise on the brand spanking new Norwegian Luna. I believe that's the ship they announced that Elton John show is going to be on there. So not Elton John, but an Elton John tribute show like the Prince show. That would be amazing if they had Elton John, right? Doing residence on there. But so those are all the groups that we have running right now. Now, I know a bunch of you have been asking, we've been talking about a group cruise for 2027. We have talked about Explorer quite a bit with that one. However, I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's not going to be Explorer Journeys. And the reason it's not going to be Explorer Journeys is because it felt like the value was better elsewhere. Still going to be a luxury cruise line, but the value was a little bit better elsewhere. We felt like we could get just a little bit of a better deal and a better itinerary. It's a longer cruise, and it just felt like the value was better on this particular. I can tell you that it's in January of 27. It's going to be 11 days from Miami. It'll be round trip Miami for 11 days into the Caribbean, Southern Caribbean. I don't want to give you, I should be able to reveal it tomorrow, Monday. We thought we were going to get the group nailed down last Friday, but they couldn't get us the information fast enough. So hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, because we don't want to say anything until the group is actually established. I'm not going to give any other teaser. I will just say it will not be Explorer Journeys on this particular one. We looked at it very hard. We had like 4 or 5 of them. We're looking at them. And then we were looking at about 4 different cruise lines, and it is going to be a luxury line. We want to do this on a luxury line. We know it is a cruise line that a lot of you guys have asked us about. It's a cruise line that we've sold a lot of, and yeah, we're really excited about this one. And hopefully tomorrow we can reveal it. Hopefully, first we got to. Actually, it might be Tuesday. So if we get all the information tomorrow, probably Tuesday, we'll reveal it. And then the representative from the cruise line will be coming on my show, not Thursday night, but the following Thursday night, probably. Ritz. It's not going to be Ritz. Have you guys looked at the pricing on Ritz? Have you looked at the pricing model on Ritz? And by the way, 4 Seasons as well. It's a hotel model. You pay one price to get on the ship. You pay for your food. You pay for your Wi-Fi. You pay for everything. It's like, wait, when I go luxury, I don't want to. I want to pay a price, and I want that to be the only price I have to pay. I don't want to be paying for everything. If you go to the 4 Seasons FAQ, there is a question on there that says, how much should I budget per day for food? It says $250 every single day is what you should budget for food. I'm sorry, when I pay 4 Seasons prices, I really would like to have that food included in what I paid. You know, kind of like, you know, your Explorers, your Silver Seas, your Azamara, your Oceania region, you know. Hey, when I pay the money, the food should be included. That's really funny. So, but I will just tell you, it's going to be an 11-day cruise. It's going to sail right about a year from now. Right about a year from now is when it's going to sail. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow, probably Tuesday, because tomorrow we'll probably get everything set up, and then on Tuesday we'll be able to reveal it. So it'll be a very, it's going to be a very nice cruise. It is a newer ship, and I think y'all are going to have an amazing time on this one. In fact, I've got one client who's already really excited about it, kind of spilled the beans a little bit, because we were talking about something around the same time frame. I'm like, well, just so you know, we're going to be doing something right in here. So she's already very excited about it. So, guys, there we go. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm going to keep this to an hour today. So I thank you for popping in. Typically, you know, we are at 10:30 in the morning. Yeah. By the way, did you see Captain Kate? Databetic said, too bad we could have all said hi to Captain Kate. Have you seen her latest video? Her ship glows. They have the glow underneath the ship. It's a green glow. I assume that it changes colors. But her freaking yacht glows. They have that glow thing on there. So no hints, Bills fan, no hints. Is there a VAT tax in Puerto Rico and Southern Caribbean? I don't know off the top of my head. If there are VAT taxes being applied to your cruise, we get a notification. Like Norwegian sends us the notifications all the time saying, hey, this particular cruise is going to be subject to a VAT tax. I don't know off the top of my head which ones are, but a lot of them will do that. So folks, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for popping in at a special time, 6 p.m. We'll be back at 10:30 in the morning next Sunday for our regular 90-minute show. This Thursday, I don't know if we'll be doing a show, but I will certainly alert you guys if we do. But thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you all have a fabulous Sunday evening and an amazing week coming up. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody.